So, what if you could turn your kitchen into a miniature factory for fun? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're taking a simple block of soap and transforming it into a full playable chess set. Welcome to the kitchen casting game. And believe it or not, creating these sharp, super detailed pieces is way easier than you might think. It all comes down to a simple process you can totally master in just one afternoon. There's a reason we call this a game. It's all about having fun and just experimenting with a really simple process. You make it, you pop it, and then you play with it. Yeah, forget about following rigid, perfect instructions. The whole point here is just the pure joy of making something. You get to mix your materials, melt them down, pour them into a mold, and then, after just a little waiting, you get that super satisfying pop when your new creation is revealed. Look, not every piece is gonna be a masterpiece, and that is totally okay. Some will come out looking perfect, and others, well, they'll have a little extra character. And honestly, that's the beauty of this game. Those charmingly wonky results are all part of the fun. So really, don't stress about perfection. All right, so this whole game is actually built on a real manufacturing principle. And to really get what we're doing, we need to dig into the difference between two key methods, casting and pressing. And it's actually something you probably already know from your own kitchen. Think about it. Casting is like making chocolate bars. You pour the melted, liquid chocolate into a mold and just let it harden. Pressing, on the other hand, is more like making cookies. You take a soft solid, like dough, and push it into a cutter. See? Two totally different approaches for two different kinds of materials. And here you can really see the difference in action. On the left, you've got pressing, which uses pressure on something soft. But on the right, you have casting, which uses a poured liquid to fill up a cavity. You can see right away how that liquid method is so much better for capturing all those tiny, intricate details. So here's the crucial takeaway. We're using casting for our chess set for one big reason. It captures those fine details incredibly well. Sure, pressing a soft material like clay might be faster, but you'd lose all the sharp edges and curves that make a chess piece, well, a chess piece. For precision, casting is absolutely king. Okay, now that you understand the why, let's dive into the how. It's time to open up the 6-step playbook for our kitchen casting game. First up, let's talk materials. You're gonna need a soap base, your chess molds, a small saucepan, some basic kitchen stuff like oil and swabs, and then the fun part, coloring and maybe a scent if you're feeling fancy. And, super important, a quick safety note, if you're working with a hot stove or sharp tools, please make sure there's an adult supervising. Safety first. Step 1 is all about prep. You're going to take a cotton swab and just apply a really thin layer of oil to the inside of your molds. This is a critical step, so don't skip it. It acts as a release agent, and it's what makes sure your finished pieces pop right out without sticking or breaking. Next up, you're going to melt your soap base. Now, the key here is patience. You want to use low heat and stir constantly. If you rush this and crank the heat up, you'll burn the soap, which smells not great, and it pretty much ruins the whole batch. So remember, low and slow is the way to go. Okay, now for the really creative part. Once that soap is fully melted, you can add your color and scent, but you really don't need much. For a 100-gram batch, a single drop of coloring is more than enough for a vibrant, awesome look. And here we go. This is the main event, casting. Carefully pour that melted soap into your prepped molds. Then, give the molds a gentle tap on the table. That'll shake any trapped air bubbles to the surface. And for that perfect, professional finish, give the surface a quick spritz with some alcohol spray. It's like magic. It just pops all those tiny bubbles, leaving you with a flawless surface. Step 5 is the easy part. You just have to wait. Let the soap cool down and harden completely. But hey, if you're feeling a little impatient, here's a pro tip. Popping the molds in the freezer will speed up the process by a lot. All right, the wait is finally over. It's time for the most satisfying part of this whole process, the big reveal and putting on those finishing touches. And here it is, the final step. You get to carefully open up your molds and take out your brand new soap chess pieces. Now, you might have a little extra material along the seam where the two halves of the mold met. No big deal. Just take a small knife and carefully trim that excess away for a nice clean finish. So, you made a soap chess piece. That's awesome. But in the process, you actually learned something much bigger than just that. Let's quickly recap the key principles you've just totally mastered. So you now get that casting is way better for capturing fine details. You've picked up some real practical skills, like using low heat to avoid a burnt mess, why oiling a mold is a non-negotiable step, and the secret magic of alcohol spray for a bubble-free finish. But most importantly, you've taken a digital design, that 3D printed mold, and used simple kitchen tools to create a real, physical object you can hold. How cool is that? You've just successfully learned a fundamental process from making things. So that really only leaves one question. Now that you understand the power of casting, what are you going to create next?